Harshavardhan,
Yes, sir.
statement copy.
Yes, sir.
Copies are being made available.
Dr. Harshvardhan from
There.
Lok Sabha.
Yeah, get
Respected Chairman, sir.
statement. It is coming to you all, please, Mr. Viswam. From earth to come to heaven, it will take time. विश्वम कितना व्यापक है आपको भी मालूम है. You know that how wide is. एक मिनट रुकिए डॉक्टर साहब, एक मिनट रुकिए. बिल स्टेटमेंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं ऊपर. हम ज्यादा सा लोग को एंगेज इसलिए नहीं कर पा रहे, अदरवाइज वो भी एक भीड़ होगा, इसलिए थोड़ा देर हो रहा है. Okay. Dr. Harshvardhan ji,
Yes, sir.
please.
Sir. Respected Chairman, sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity and privilege to give a statement before the upper house regarding the COVID pandemic and the steps taken by the Government of India. Sir, I have briefed this August House on two earlier occasions, once in February and again in March this year, on the COVID pandemic. I would again like to brief the honorable members on the current situation of COVID-19 pandemic and the actions taken by the Government of India. Since my last briefing, WHO declared COVID-19 a pandemic and asked all countries to take urgent and aggressive action against this public health crisis. As on 11th September 2020, 215 countries, territories worldwide are affected. As per WHO, there are more than 2.79 crore confirmed cases across the world, with more than 9.05 lakh deaths, with a case fatality rate of 3.2%. Sir, as on 11th September 2020, a total of 45 lakhs 62,414 confirmed cases and 76,271 deaths, with a case fatality rate of 1.67% have been reported in India. As many as 35 lakhs 42,663, that is about 77.65% cases have recovered. The maximum cases and deaths have been primarily reported from Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, West Bengal, Bihar, Telangana, Odisha, Assam, Kerala and Gujarat. All these states have reported more than 1 lakh cases. With our endeavor to manage COVID-19 through a whole of government and whole of society approach, India has been able to limit its cases and deaths per million to 3,320 cases per million and 55 deaths per million population respectively, which is one of the lowest in the world as compared to similarly affected countries. Many of the epidemiological parameters such as mode of transmission, subclinical infection, period of virus shedding, role of immunity, etc. are still being researched. Once a person is exposed to the infection, the disease may develop any time between 1 to 14 days. The main symptoms of COVID are fever, cough, and difficulty in breathing. In our country, about 92% of the cases are reported to be having mild disease. In only about 5.8% of the cases where oxygen therapy is required, and the disease may be severe enough to require intensive care in only 1.7% cases. Sir, the increasing magnitude of this outbreak in India called for a preemptive, proactive, graded and whole of government, whole of society approach built around a comprehensive strategy to prevent infections, save lives and minimize impact. The Government of India undertook the COVID-19 challenge with the highest level of political commitment. The nationwide lockdown, a bold decision undertaken by the government, duly involving community, initiated as self-imposed Janta curfew, as per the call given by the Honorable Prime Minister, is testimony to the fact that India has collectively stood up to manage COVID-19 and successfully blunted the aggressive progression of COVID. It has been estimated that this decision prevented approximately 14 to 29 lakh cases and 37 to 78,000 deaths. Further, these 4 months were utilized to create additional health infrastructure, enhance human resource, and produce within India critical elements such as PPEs, N95 masks, and ventilators. A case in point is increase in dedicated isolation beds 36.3 times and dedicated ICU beds above 24.6 times to what existed in March 2020. Whereas there was no indigenous manufacturing of PPEs with the requisite standards at that point in time, we are now self-sufficient and in a position to even export the same. On behalf of our countrymen, I take this opportunity to congratulate our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, who personally continues to monitor the situation and provided his leadership. Government of India has initiated a series of actions to prevent entry of the disease and to contain it. I am daily reviewing the situation. Honorable Prime Minister himself has interacted with the Chief Ministers of all states and UT administrations and all stakeholders to regularly understand issues and collaborate with the states for effective COVID management. Group of ministers under my chairmanship consisting of Minister of External Affairs, Minister of Civil Aviation and Minister of State for Home Affairs, Minister of State for Shipping and Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare have met 20 times since its inception on 3rd February 2020. Committee of Secretaries under Cabinet Secretary has taken regular reviews with all related ministries of Health, Defence, Ministry of External Affairs, Civil Aviation, Home, Textiles, Pharma, Commerce and other officials, including with State Chief Secretaries. Under the overall guidance of Honorable Prime Minister, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India has constituted 11 empowered groups on 29th March 2020 on different aspects of COVID-19 management in the country to take informed decisions on issues ranging from medical emergency planning, availability of hospitals, isolation and quarantine facility, disease surveillance and testing, ensuring availability of essential medical equipment, augmenting human resource and capacity building, supply chain and logistic management, coordination with private sector, economic and welfare measures, information, communication and public awareness, technology and data management, public grievance and strategic issues related to lockdown. These groups have recently been restructured on 10th of September based on the need and also the evolving scenario. My own ministry is constantly reviewing the evolving scenario. Video conferences are being held with states regularly. We have held 63 video conferences so far with state health ministers, health functionaries, and district level officials. The joint monitoring group under the chairmanship of the Director General Health Services, which advises the ministry on technical matters, has met 40 times till now to assess the risk and review the preparedness and response mechanisms and finalize technical guidelines. Government of India, based on the experience of successfully managing pandemics and epidemics in the past, provided the requisite strategy, plans and procedures to the state governments and UT administrations. This includes containment plans and guidelines on a wide range of subjects related to travel, behavioral and psychosocial health, surveillance, laboratory support, hospital infrastructure, clinical management, rational use of personal protective equipment, PPEs, including inspirational guidance for healthcare personnel. Government of India has also taken several other measures to contain, suppress the transmission of COVID. First travel advisory was issued on 17th January 2020, and as situation evolved, the travel advisories were revised in a graded manner. Universal screening of passengers from all countries was introduced, and up to 23rd March 2020, till the suspension of all the commercial flights, a total of 14,154 flights with 15,24,266 passengers were screened at the airports. In addition to airports, about 16.31 lakh persons were screened at land border crossings, and about 86,379 persons were screened at 12 major and 65 minor seaports. Presently, Government of India has advised no scheduled international commercial passenger aircraft be allowed to take off from any foreign airport for any airport in India from March 22, 2020, except under Vande Bharat mission on May 7, 2020, which aims to bring back home stranded Indians in many countries due to COVID-19 pandemic. Temporary air travel arrangements, transport bubbles between India and 9 other mutually consenting countries aimed at restarting commercial passenger services have commenced. They are reciprocal in nature, meaning airlines from both countries enjoy similar benefits. A guidelines for international arrivals has also been issued by the Ministry on 24th May 2020, which were revised on 2nd of August 2020. Prior to the lockdown 1.0, Government of India evacuated Indian nationals from Wuhan in China, Diamond Princess cruise ship in Japan, Iran, Italy and Malaysia under Vande Bharat mission. As reported on 11th September 2020, a total of 12,69,172 passengers have been brought back to India. Community surveillance was initiated initially for travel-related cases and subsequently for cases being reported from community by Integrated Disease Surveillance Program. As on 11th September 2020, a total of about 40 lakh persons have been kept under surveillance, and extensive contact tracing for all positive cases, which is regularly being undertaken through disease surveillance network so as to break the chain of transmission. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare released containment plans to contain cluster and large outbreaks on 2nd March and 4th April 2020 respectively, and these plans were updated from time to time. The containment plans envisage a strategy of breaking the chain of transmission by defining containment and buffer zones, applying strict perimeter control, intensive active house-to-house search for cases and contacts, isolation and testing of suspect cases and high-risk contacts, quarantine of high-risk contacts, intensive risk communication to raise community awareness on simple preventive measures, and need for prompt treatment seeking and strengthening of passive influenza-like illness, that is severe acute respiratory illness, SARI surveillance in containment and buffer zones. With the evolving scenario, laboratory network is continuously being strengthened. From a situation of a single laboratory equipped to undertake testing for COVID in January, presently 1,705 laboratories are conducting COVID-19 testing. Laboratories have been established in difficult terrains like Ladakh, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, as well as other northeastern states, Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar Islands. Currently, the testing is about 1 million tests a day, which translates to 720 tests per million population per day, much higher than that stipulated by WHO, which is 140 tests per million population per day. A total of 5,51,89,226 samples have been tested so far as on 11th of September 2020. While there were no indigenous manufacturers of laboratory diagnostics or testing machines for COVID, today we have an indigenous production capacity of more than 10 lakh kits per day. For appropriate management of COVID-19 cases, a 3-tier arrangement of health facilities that is COVID care center with isolation beds for mild or pre-symptomatic cases, dedicated COVID health centers with oxygen-supported isolation beds for moderate cases, and dedicated COVID hospitals with ICU beds for severe cases has been implemented. Tertiary care hospitals under ESI Corporation, Defense, Railways, Paramilitary Forces, Steel Ministry, etc. have also been leveraged for case management. As on 12th September 2020, a total of 15,284 COVID treatment facilities with 13,14,646 dedicated isolation beds without oxygen have been created. Also, a total of 2,31,093 oxygen-supported isolation beds and 62,717 ICU beds, including 32,575 ventilator beds have been created. Constant monitoring of the disease trend, analysis of available infrastructure, and planning in advance for the future has averted a major crisis as was faced by many developed countries. In addition, a total of 12,826 quarantine centers with 5,98,811 beds have also been created. Guidelines on clinical management of COVID-19 were issued and regularly updated and widely circulated. These include case definition, prevention of infection control, laboratory diagnosis, early supporting therapy, management of severe cases and complications. No specific antivirals have been proven effective so far. Symptomatic treatment for fever and cough, appropriate rehydration, supplemental oxygen therapy remains the mainstay of treatment. We have repurposed the drug hydroxychloroquine for mild but high-risk cases and for moderate cases. This was done with limited scientific evidence, but well acknowledging that this drug has been used widely in India for other ailments where it is used for prolonged periods of time with good safety profile. In addition, provisions for investigational therapies has also been made for using remdesivir, convalescent plasma, and also tocilizumab for managing severe cases under close medical supervision. With the intent to ensure dissemination of these standard treatment protocols and reduce mortality to maximum extent, a number of initiatives have been launched. And AIMS Corona Helpline 9971876591 has been started to guide the doctors on medical management. AIMS Delhi is running the COVID-19 National Teleconsultation Center, CONTACT, which can be reached by calling 911-544-155. It is catering to doctors from anywhere in the country who want to consult AIMS faculty for the management of COVID-19 patients, as well as to the public in general. Telemedicine guidelines have also been issued on 25th March 2020 to provide teleconsultation to patients for mitigation of their illness and prevention of crowding in clinics. It may also help in triage, treatment, and counseling for care of ill patients by healthcare providers in areas with limited access. A clinical center of excellence initiative has also been launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare with AIMS Delhi as the apex nodal institution, and state-level clinical centers of excellence to provide guidance on clinical management protocols. Weekly webinars are being organized by AIMS to guide these state-level centers of excellence on crucial clinical issues that doctors may require guidance on managing COVID cases. These state-level centers of excellence are expected to further disseminate these in their districts to ensure accessibility of quality treatment for both COVID and non-COVID health issues to far-flung areas. Use of telemedicine has been promoted in a big way. eSanjeevani, a web-based comprehensive telemedicine solution, is being utilized in 23 states to extend the reach of specialized healthcare services to masses in both rural areas and isolated communities. ICMR is establishing a national clinical registry on COVID that will provide insights into clinical course of COVID-19 disease, its spectrum and outcome of patients. 13 clinical trials of repurposed drugs and harnessing of traditional knowledge using the modern medicine approach are building a portfolio of therapeutic options for COVID-19 patients. Phase 2 clinical trial of immunomodulator Cefsivac has been completed successfully. Phase 2 clinical trial of the first ever phytopharmaceutical ACQH is underway. 1 prophylactic trial of ashwagandha and 3 trials of Guduchi, Pipali, Yashti Madhu and polyherbal Ayush drug, Ayush 64, are planned on moderately ill COVID-19 patients. An effective vaccine would be the sure shot tool in the armamentarium against disease. On this front, globally there are around 145 vaccine candidates in preclinical evaluation and currently 35 vaccines in clinical trial. In India, a major focus has been on facilitating the development of COVID-19 vaccine. More than 30 vaccine candidates have been supported, which are in different stages of development. 3 candidates are in advanced stage of phase 1, phase 2 or phase 3 trial, and more than 4 are in advanced preclinical development stage. COVID-19 biorepositories have been set up, which have collected more than 40,000 samples, which have been made available to researchers and industry for developing diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines. To coordinate procurement and distribution of COVID vaccine, Government of India has constituted a national expert group on vaccine administration for COVID-19 on 7th of August 2020 under the chairmanship of Member Health Niti Aayog. Ministry of Ayush has contributed through various measures for the management and mitigation of COVID-19. The ministry recommended guidelines of self-care for preventive health measures and boosting immunity. Ministry of Ayush has also issued health advisories from different systems of medicine on prophylaxis and immunity promotion, which was translated into 8 foreign languages and circulated to Indian embassies. Various Ayush hospitals were designated as quarantine centers, isolation centers, COVID care centers, and COVID health centers. Around 8.5 lakh Ayush healthcare professionals have been registered on covidwarriors.gov. Ministry of Ayush has formed an interdisciplinary Ayush R&D task force. The task force has formulated and designed clinical research protocols for Ayush prophylactic studies and add-on interventions in COVID-19 positive cases. Ayush CSIR collaborative studies were initiated with Ayush medicines for prophylaxis/treatment. A large-scale population-based study through Ayush research councils and national institutes under the Ministry on prophylaxis of Ayush interventions in targeted populations in containment zones is underway. Ministry of Ayush has also initiated impact assessment of effectiveness, acceptance, and usage of Ayush advisories and measures in prevention of COVID-19 through a mobile application known as Ayush Sanjeevani app. States have been requested to assess the stock of their logistics, particularly personal protective equipment, and procure the same. Total orders for 1.92 crore PPEs have been placed by the central government so far. The ministry has already supplied 1.39 crore PPE kits and 3.43 crore N95 masks to states as on 11th of September 2020. Department of Pharmaceuticals increased the production of drug hydroxychloroquine manifold. As on 11th of September 2020, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has issued 10.84 crore tablets of hydroxychloroquine to states and the UTs. India has also exported it to more than 140 countries. The central government has already issued orders to purchase 60,948 ventilators to meet any contingencies. As on 11th September 2020, 32,109 ventilators have been allocated to states, of which 30,170 have been delivered. The country is self-sufficient in oxygen and oxygen cylinders. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has procured and supplied 1,02,400 oxygen cylinders to various states and UTs so far. In addition, oxygen concentrators are also being supplied to states. One of the major challenges was to identify and train a large number of COVID warriors across sectors and departments that can be involved in not only COVID-related work, but also for ensuring maintenance of other essential medical services. Pooling manpower resources has been done from Defense, Ayush, NCC, NSS, NYK, public sector enterprises and private sector. In spite of various constraints and challenges, the COVID warriors rose to the occasion in serving humanity. The country feels indebted to the doctors, nurses, paramedics, frontline field workers, security and police personnel, sanitation workers, volunteers and journalists who have worked tirelessly to protect our countrymen from COVID. I would request the August House to place on record the appreciation for the human services delivered by them. There have been instances where healthcare service personnel had to face harassment, acts of violence, intimidation, and danger to life during discharge of their duties. To overcome this and support their efforts, Government of India promulgated Epidemic Diseases Amendment Ordinance 2020 on 22nd April 2020 to build the capacities of human resources, including the medical manpower who help managing patients in hospitals, as well as non-medical personnel and field workers involved in surveillance, logistics, etc. Modules have been made available on iGOT Diksha online platform by DOPT. The training modules have been translated to regional languages. Close to 29.15 lakh people have registered for various courses. This includes 5,699 doctors, 86,018 Ayush professionals, 4,102 nurses, 963 allied health professionals, 5,881 frontline workers, 2,70,736 volunteers, and 25,42,892 other participants. About 18.96 lakh course completions have taken place on iGOT Diksha platform. Training resources for medical and non-medical personnel have also been made available on the website of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. We have now moved from managing travel-related cases to containing clusters and large outbreaks due to local transmission to widespread of infection to urban, peri-urban and rural areas. This would require concerted effort by the government with people's participation to prevent large-scale morbidity and mortality. Equally crucial is to maintain the success achieved in management of reproductive, maternal and child health, vaccine-preventable diseases, non-communicable diseases, tuberculosis, vector-borne diseases such as Kala Azar and malaria. Hence, there is an increased thrust for managing non-COVID essential services. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website is being updated daily to provide general public with information on current status of COVID-19 spread in India. Regular press releases are being issued and press briefings are being held. Communication material and toolkits have been developed, pamphlets, posters, audio and AV films, and they are provided to the states and UTs also on COVID-19 disease. Preventive steps required to be taken by the communities, handling of myths and stigma related to disease, and to widely publicize the helpline numbers available. Communication material is also being hosted on Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website and through social media. Do's and don'ts are being widely circulated through SMS. 550 crore SMSs have been sent. Caller tune messages are being sent to telecom subscribers in 13 languages, and 117 crore subscribers have been reached. A dedicated call center helpline 1075 had been started in the initial days to guide community at large, which is being used by the citizens very effectively and on a regular basis. A total of 41.04 lakh calls have been received so far. Department of Biotechnology, Department of Science and Technology, CSIR and Department of Health Research covered the entire chain of scientific and technological solutions holistically for COVID-19 through academia, R&D labs, industry, startups and NGOs. These solutions include basic scientific studies on the behavior, transmission and effects of virus, mathematical modeling of the pandemic and products such as the world-class ventilators, diagnostic kits, vaccines, therapeutics, antiviral coatings, disinfectants, PPEs, masks, mobile testing booths and hospitals, artificial intelligence-based tools, and information dissemination to masses. For these purposes, a comprehensive mapping of our entire startup ecosystem was done to identify and support over 110 technology startups and over 20 industries for commercial production. Over 150 projects in all areas of virus behavior have been initiated. Government of India is regularly coordinating with WHO headquarters, regional office and the country office to get update on the evolving scenario. Government of India has also provided support to other countries in tackling the challenge posed by the COVID. India has played a major role in shaping up G20 and BRICS response to COVID. India is also extending support wherever required to neighboring SAARC countries. The government is proactively identifying gaps and building an Atmanirbhar Bharat that will be able to take challenge of similar pandemics, epidemics and disasters in future. And an expenditure finance memorandum of 65,560.98 crores under Prime Minister Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana for strengthening is already under consideration. This includes investment in research, healthcare and public health infrastructure with particular focus on pandemic management. I would urge all the honorable members of Parliament that battle for COVID is still far from over. On one hand, when we are in the stage of unlock so as to revive the economy and have a balanced approach, it is important that sustained community support is ensured consistently to control the spread of COVID infection and break its chain of transmission. Your support is crucial to create awareness in your respective constituencies for COVID-appropriate behavior. The simple public health measures of wearing of mask, face covers, frequent hand washing, respiratory etiquettes, and physical distancing of 2 gaj ki duri as a social vaccine, if practiced in a responsible manner, will help us in controlling and suppressing the transmission of COVID. Sir, I wish to inform this House once again that the government is taking all necessary measures to prevent the spread of COVID in India. Thank you.
Please. See, I have received around 10 requests for asking clarifications and giving suggestions. So what I am thinking is that we have another 25 minutes and we can go ahead with this thing, or we take it up separately and we have discussion. That way you have to decide. Once we take separate discussion, say for an hour or 1.5 hours, then I will not have the clarifications now, because you can't have both because of the paucity of time. So